So recently, I've done a lot of thinking about my purpose, basically, and the why, and why academic English now, and why am I doing what I'm doing? Why record these YouTube videos? Why record this video? Why help PhD students and researchers publish papers? And, what's the purpose really here? Because, obviously you run a business, you get clients, you want to make money, but that's not really a good purpose. That's not really a good why. There's got to be some sort of deeper reason why you're doing what you're doing. Otherwise, you will just burn out really quickly and you will stop enjoying what you're doing. And the same really applies to doing research, right? You've got to have a purpose and you've got to have a why for, why you're doing what you're doing. What is your purpose? And for a long time, that thing about mission, vision, and principles for a company, all that sounded to me a little bit kind of nebulous and nonsensical. It was just kind of those things that big companies put out there on their websites that nobody really follows, and these grand words that companies use for the mission and vision that they don't follow in the end. But after reading this book by Simon Sinek, Start With Why, I've really changed my perspective, and it helped me to reflect really on my purpose as a human being. And maybe this is going to sound deep, but really my purpose as a human being, and our purpose as a company, as Academic English Now, and why are we really here? What is it that we're trying to achieve, and why are we doing it? What is our mission in here? And I've really, after reading this book, I think I've understood why this whole thing about mission and vision and principles is so important, really. And in this video, what I really want to do is to give you a breakdown of that purpose and why I am here recording these videos, and why all of us at Academic English Now are here supporting PhD students and researchers. So let's dive in and let's take a look at that. So really, it all starts with our mission, and what is it? What is the grand thing, that we're trying to achieve here? And reading this book made me really think long and hard for several weeks. What is that main purpose that I have as a human being, and that that we have at Academic English Now? And it made me reflect on my own journey to start with, because really, before I started my PhD, I'd never done any research before. I didn't have a master's degree, I just had a bachelor's degree, which didn't really involve any research, to be honest. It was just like writing a 30 or 20 page literature review, basically, on a particular topic. And I'd never written, let alone published, any research papers at all. I enjoyed writing, I wrote blog posts and things like that, but never like, a research paper. And then, I started my PhD at the University of York, and 3 years later, I finished it. And I had 3 published papers as well. And also for 2 years of that PhD, I was working full-time as an academic writing teacher at a university. I kind of thought that this was normal until I started teaching more and more and talking to more and more PhD students. I started realizing that really my experience was not typical at all. Most students I worked with, or that I talked to at the universities in the UK and Belgium, that they really, really struggled, and they struggled not only academically, but they also struggled personally, emotionally, with the whole PhD journey, right? And unfortunately, many of them as well lacked consistent guidance and feedback, and that was one of the main reasons why they struggled, right? And really, many of the academic writing courses that I've taught on weren't very effective. And I have another video explaining, the 10 reasons why I think a lot of academic writing courses aren't effective, but really, a lot of them just aren't practical. You get taught how to write a paragraph or how to structure something, but it's all very theoretical, and it doesn't really apply to you personally, right? So this really led me to my mission and my purpose here, or shall I say, better our purpose at Academic English Now, which is to empower researchers to confidently express their research ideas. So this empowerment is really important for us because, I know it's a cliche, but I don't want to give you the fish. So we do not write the thesis or the paper for you. I know there are a lot of companies who do it, and, best of luck to them. But we don't do that. I want you to be able to fish, right? So we empower you to become an independent researcher who can publish research papers in the future on his or her own and really express your research ideas with confidence in your own voice. That's really why we're here. That's our mission at Academic English Now. And, with that mission, we started getting some amazing results. So like Lisette Britz, for example, who's a researcher, pediatric surgeon, she runs triathlons, and she's extremely busy. Yet, we were able to rework her routine and help her with time management, and now she's writing papers regularly. Abano, who's a PhD student in anthropology, she wrote 4 abstracts and a paper in 2 months. And then Natasha Morales had never written a paper before, and then she wrote 3 in 6 months while working with us. Right? Rami wrote a paper in 4 weeks following our guidance. And, Ibifura went from major corrections on her thesis, like almost initially failing her thesis, to not only passing it without corrections, to also publishing 2 papers in Q1 Scopus-Indexed journals. So, that mission started giving us some amazing results. And this really brought me to the vision, which I think is really like kind of the second layer of the why, right? So the mission is kind of more general, and then the vision, I think, is much more specific. So really why we are here at Academic English Now is to support 100,000 PhD students and researchers in publishing research papers in high-impact journals. So we don't, again, we want to empower you. We don't want to write things for you. We want to give you the right guidance and the right tools so that you can do it yourself. And, we don't want you to just publish anywhere. There's lots of predatory journals, lots of journals that will publish any rubbish for the money that you give them. We want you to publish in good journals, in Scopus-Indexed journals, preferably Q1 Scopus-Indexed journals. That's really our vision. And then, as we started getting people good results, more and more people, more and more PhD students and researchers started coming to me for help. So then, I needed help as well. And I decided to hire this guy, Andrew Woodbury, who's now our main enrollment advisor. And he's in charge of, helping people to decide if they want to work with us or not. And, Andrew is from Toronto, Canada, and our friendship goes back a long way. We initially met in Costa Rica in 2012, where we taught English together. And, we resonate in many aspects with Andrew. He loves watching sports. I love watching sports. He loves reading books, and I love reading books too. And so it was just a natural next step that we would consider working together, right? And then, as more and more clients started approaching us, I really had to think about who was going to help those clients achieve the results, because, I couldn't do all of that. And if I tried, then I would do a very bad job of supporting all those PhD students and researchers. So that's why, Margarita Monge Morera, who in her private life is also my wife, full disclosure, she decided to get on board as well and join the company. And it felt, like the logical next step, because she did a PhD and she did a postdoc in bioscience and engineering. So she had lots and lots of experience of, publishing papers. Her papers even made it to the cover of one of the best journals in her field. So it just felt like a natural next step now for her to be supporting and empowering the PhD students and researchers that we work with to achieve their results. And she also loves cooking and baking. In case any of you also enjoy that, you can exchange recipes. Now, with that, the sort of the start of our Academic English Now team, we started getting more amazing results. Like this guy, Shaheen, who almost quit his PhD, and then he did his thesis and a paper, much to the surprise and amazement of his supervisor, who was so amazed with Shaheen's progress that he actually decided to pay the fees for our services for Shaheen. Similar story here with Rinko, who was really struggling for a long time with her PhD, and then she finally graduated last year. So congrats to her. And then Lena got tenure last year, which is also awesome. And this guy, Alexei, he did his DBA despite working full time. He finished his doctorate thesis last year as well. And then we also had Begum, who wrote an amazing systematic literature review and is currently finishing her PhD thesis. And this guy, he's a machine, Jean-Paul Sebastian. He wrote 5 papers in just 4 months. 2 of them were conference papers, 3 of them were journal papers, but still, he's amazing. To do that, to write 5 papers in 4 months, you're amazing, so congrats, Jean-Paul. And obviously, the more clients we started getting, the more of you were interested in our services. I needed more people to help us, more smart people who would resonate with the vision that we have at Academic English Now of empowering PhD students and researchers. So I decided to hire Kalila as the second client success manager, and she has worked with many students in tertiary education. She's also been an academic mentor at a PhD program since 2019, and she's worked with people in all sorts of different fields. And she's also an avid reader. She enjoys gaining knowledge and interacting with others, and she's become an amazing client success manager at Academic English Now. And then Lynn joined us as well as a client success manager. She's a doctorate holder in education. She's taught in many countries, including Sweden, England, UAE. She was even a dean of a college in the UAE, and she loves traveling and mountain hikes with her dogs. And with that team in place, we really had to think about like how we're actually going to do things in practice. Because when you start getting different people on your team, you might have that vision and mission for what you and the company wants to achieve, but really, what is it that we're going to do on a day-to-day basis that will help our clients get amazing results? And these really are our principles at Academic English Now. So, first of all, really all of us at Academic English Now are passionate about empowering our clients to achieve the desired results in the shortest amount of time possible. Because, anyone can help you to get any sort of result if you give them infinite amount of time. Like, you will probably achieve it on your own. What we want our clients to do is to do that as fast as possible, So I don't have a magic pill, but if I did, and I could offer it to you, then I would. So we want you to get amazing results as fast as possible. And we don't want to do things for you, but we want to show you the way and guide you and empower you to get those results. And also, one thing that is very, very important for us is to provide feedback and guidance in a concise and clear way. That's fundamental for us because, again, there is a lot of guidance and a lot of feedback that you can get from different people. But the key is, being concise and being clear so that you understand exactly what you need to do. And also, all of us on the team, we strive to be 1% better each day, and we encourage our clients to do the same, to think about, how can we better ourselves, just 1% every single day, and take full accountability for the work that we do. So I'm a really big believer in the phrase or the statement that, where you are right now really is all your own doing. Whether that's positive or negative, like ultimately we are all responsible in one way or another for our situation where we are right now in our life. And as a result, we are also responsible for changing that situation. And we also like to communicate in a direct and transparent way. So if I can use one word instead of 50, I will just use one word to communicate that. And I don't like sort of sugarcoating things for you. Will just tell you how things are, and will be sort of brutally honest and radically transparent with you and with each other. That's kind of what we believe in, right? And we also big on focusing on the how, right? Because we talk to a lot of PhD students and researchers who kind of know what they need to do. They've been told that, their paper lacks a coherent story. Maybe you have been told this, but they don't know how to do it, right? So that's why, I'm really passionate about providing innovative solutions that focus on the how you can actually solve your problems and achieve your results. That's kind of the only thing that matters to us. And then with that, we started with those principles, we started getting more amazing results. Like this guy, William, who published his paper in a Scopus Q1 Indexed journal. Or Golafruz, who also published her paper in a Scopus Indexed journal, right? Or Volodymyr, who's a PhD student, and his paper was so good that when he handed in to his supervisor decided to submit it to an even better journal. So initially they were aiming for, maybe a lower tier journal, but when the supervisor read what Volodymyr wrote with our help and support, like they decided to submit it to an even better journal. That's a great result, I think. And then obviously, we started getting more and more clients. So again, I needed more people who resonated with our vision, our mission, and our principles at Academic English Now to continue empowering PhD students and researchers. So I decided to hire Hayden Godfrey as another client success manager. And he's a Harvard visiting fellow, specializes in research designs and methodology. He's published on several funded research projects in leading journals with Harvard and Oxford Graduate School of Education. And he's also the recipient of the Fulbright All Disciplines Scholarships. And that's one of the most competitive scholarships there is. And he works with our clients on research paper mastery, getting them amazing results. And then Latanya Hughes, who's what she calls a Floribian. So that's somebody who's native of Florida in the United States who has Caribbean roots. That's a new term that she coined, right? And she has a doctorate as well, and more than a decade in higher education. And she's worked as a dissertation chair, which basically means a supervisor for PhD students at various universities in the US. And she enjoys jewelry, baking, cooking, relaxing on the beach. And she's been with us as well, getting our clients amazing results, such as this one, Lisette, right? Whose paper recently was recommended for publication. Or Claudia, right? Who, when she joined us, she really struggled with writing, and now she's excited to write again. And I think that's just amazing because, a lot of PhD students and researchers really see writing as something terrifying, like something really difficult to do, and she now is excited about writing, which is awesome. Or Alexei, who finalized his PhD dissertation. Or here Shaheen as well, who got praised by his senior professor, right? And then this started really attracting more and more people to our services. So I needed more people to help with the enrollment. So recently Maya Glock joined us, who's originally from Denmark, and she's lived in Sweden for a very long time, where she's taught English, really helping a lot of people achieve their language goals. And she's joined us because she finds it rewarding to see how people succeed with the right guidance, the right support, and the right attitude, right? And she also enjoys meaningful chats with friends, long hikes, staying active, and moments with candles, a good film, or a book. And then Ricardo joined our team. Ricardo is originally from Brazil, from Sao Paulo, where he lives, and he's been an English teacher for over 20 years with a focus on business and academic English. And he's really passionate about supporting professionals in communicating their ideas effectively in English. And he's also a keen bicycle enthusiast and bass baritone choir singer. And this led us to even more results, like Patience, for example, who recently published her systematic literature review in a Q1 Scopus-Indexed journal. Or Frode, who passed his Viva at King's College London, which is a really, really good university in the UK. Or Dung, whose conference paper was actually shortlisted to be published in an A-rank journal, which is one of the journal classifications in her field. So now really if this has resonated with you, and if you want similar results to the one that Shahin got, Alexei, Jean-Paul, or Lena, then really, I'm looking for our next success story. And I'm looking for our next PhD student or researcher who wants to feel empowered and who wants to be able to express the research ideas with confidence in the thesis or in the research paper. So if this sounds like you, then let's definitely talk. And over the next few days, we've set some time aside to talk to you to see if, we can really help you to achieve your goals. So you're going to meet one of our team members on a one-to-one call, and we're going to get clear on the main challenges that you have and the main goals, and really see if we can help you or not. And if we can't help you, we'll be brutally honest with you. As I said, we believe in radical transparency. So if it's not something that we can help you with, we'll be upfront and we'll tell you we cannot help you. Right? And we'll meet one-to-one, so it's not some sort of like webinar or anything like it. It's a really personalized one-to-one session, right? And then at the end, if it does turn out that it is a good fit for both of us, and if we can help you, then we'll offer you an exclusive place on one of our paid programs so that you can write an excellent PhD thesis or submit your paper in the next 6 weeks or less. Right? And the link to schedule that free one-to-one consultation is right below in the description to this video. So when you click on it, you will land on a page like this with a calendar, right? Just make sure you select the right time zone so there's no confusion. It should be automatic, but do select the right time zone. Then you just click on a day, select the time slot available, and then you fill in a short application form. So just to be upfront, we don't work with everybody because, we want to work with people who we can actually help, right? So fill in this application form so that we know a little bit more about your current challenges, whether you're a PhD student or a researcher, to immediately see if it makes sense to have the one-to-one call to see if and how we might be able to help you. Now, who are these sessions for? You're basically a researcher or a PhD student who wants to double or triple the scientific output. You aim to publish papers in top journals in your field, so not just any journal, but really Q1 Scopus-Indexed journals. And maybe you've had your papers rejected before and you want to learn a proven system to avoid endless resubmissions. And you really want to climb the academic career ladder and become an authority in your field. And importantly, you're committed and ready to invest your time, money, and effort right now to achieve your goals, right? So if you're not committed because you're going on holidays or because, you just cannot or don't want to kind of commit energy, time, money to this, then this is not for you. So this session is also not for you, if you want someone to write the thesis or paper for you. We don't do that. As I said, we want to empower you to be able to write your own paper or your thesis, right? It's also not for you if you're looking for advice on the content or the methodology of your project. We don't provide advice on that. And it's not for you if you're looking for a free lesson. This is not a free lesson. You can see it as, a first session with a doctor where we're going to really identify, what's your pain and what's your goal, and then prescribe a medicine for that pain. Right? And it's not for you if you're not able or willing to invest in your future and join a paid program. Because at the end of the day, if we are able to help you, we will offer you, one of our solutions to your problems. Okay? And you can book your free consultation right below. The link is in the description, or you can just go to academicenglishnow.com/schedule. Right? And remember that this is a tailored one-to-one session, and we're going to focus on empowering you to achieve your goals in the shortest possible time. And they fill up really fast as well. So if you want to book a spot, I would do it right now. And really the last thing that I want to leave you with is this, your life in terms of your research, but just life in general, can go in the following 3 ways. Number 1, you can decide to do nothing. You can stay where you are and watch others regularly publish research papers. And that's really the worst outcome. You just do nothing about your challenges, pain, problem, right? You can try to go at it on your own, and guaranteed you'll make a ton of errors and struggle for years before eventually figuring it out. As I said, if you have infinite amount of time and you just persist at something, you'll probably eventually figure it out, but it'll be very costly, very time consuming, and very painful. right? Or option 3, you can work with us and together we can empower you to regularly write papers for Q1 Scopus-Indexed journals, right? And really, I want to leave you with this, and I don't want you to feel like you should have joined it months ago. I don't want you to be kicking yourself for not having scheduled the session earlier to get our advice, get our support, and empower yourself to express your research ideas with confidence. So you can schedule it right here.